Hopefully this one works. Hopefully everything looks decent. Sounds good. Looks like things are looking alright on this one. Cool. Alright, test for sound. Sounds alright. Okay. Alright, we're all set up now, finally. Yeah, so looks like things are working alright here. I think me's pretty big. A little bit bigger than what I would normally do, but I guess it works. So, yeah, fur mark. Actually, I'll just leave this stuff here for now. We'll go into the BIOS. Go into the BIOS right off the bat. There we go. Show a little bit of. Just go. Save profile. Hard drive. Gaming. Stability. Profile saved. Now what we're going to do is going to load optimize defaults. Tweaker, as you can see, everything's set to default. Okay. Now we're gonna save and exit here. Save and exit. Kit of RAM I have in it is Corsair Dominator Titaniums. Just gonna show the voltage right now on just stock on 13900K. So this is the 13900K, but this also applies to other CPUs as well, not just 13900K. As the motherboards are given too much voltages for some reason. It's not really Intel's fault on this. It's the motherboard manufacturers putting in too much voltages. So we'll do this. And I need to make a coffee. Gonna have to make a coffee. Hopefully you can hear me just fine. Put in my really long password. Open up hardware monitor here. Yes, continue. There we go. So here's all the cores going. This is stock. This is stock settings. I just want to show the voltages that are being used. So the vid max, as you can see, it's very high. This is not needed to run at all. It does not need to go this high. Okay, CPU V core is what the CPU is actually getting. This is the actual voltages that the CPU is getting. The vid is requested, and it's not good. Okay, so we'll leave that open, and what I'm gonna do is open up Marvel Rivals here. We can even just watch the vid go up. So the V-core here in the vid. So right now it's hitting like 1.5 volts on some, almost 1.5, which is insane. It's actually insane to see 1.5 volts. It should not need that. No CPU really needs that to be stable. And sometimes having, again, too much voltages makes things unstable. So, okay, so we're doing that. We're gonna exit this. We're gonna go to library. We're gonna open up Marvel Rivals because everyone likes Marvel Rivals. We're gonna watch. Oh, the sound's on though. Sounds very loud too. There we go. Take off the sound there. Boom. And we're going to be going through a whole bunch of things on this stream here. Different overclocks, just in case you want all the cores going. I like to do, if you're gaming, I do like to do just the performance cores only. But we'll do all core going, performance cores and E-cores. Then we'll go over some RAM overclocking as well for stability. It all depends on the RAM kits too. I have cheap RAM kits that we can go over as well. I could put them in. Oh, it takes forever to load. Again, hopefully this sounds good. I'm not sure if you actually hear everything. Just gonna do a short stream here. And in the morning I'll go through some more things. If it loads, take its sweet time. Alright, we're loading in. Sweet. So we're loading in. And I'm going to be showing again the voltages and all that too while we're in game. Yeah. Yes, let's go. So we're going to go here. Again, we're going to be watching, see how the vid's already gone up. And the voltage V core has gone way up. Way higher than what it needs to be. It's insane. It's actually insane. Yeah, I know. I got a penalty because I crashed. Wait, what? Sub to OCPC. Ask questions, watch awesome gameplay, and talk to us about PC. Thanks, Rom. Thanks, Rom. Okay, so as you can see, we're already. Let's see if I can. I'm blocking what I need to go to. There it is. Practice, and we'll just go to practice range. It doesn't matter if we are in a game or not. It's gonna do the same thing. So let's go to practice range, and I'll show you the voltages again. And we'll just go. Hella confirm. Let's go.
Every mortal is my subject. I rule all. An opportunity for combat.
Double KO! That's 3!
Okay, so we're in the game now. Show you the voltages. 1.464 volts. 1.512 requested. It's getting 1.46. Crazy. And that's for all core, as you can see. 1.5. Basically all 1.5 volts. Which is absolutely insane. We're hitting about 130 watts. 5.5 gigahertz. 4.3 on the E-cores. Stock, it's stock, right? It's all stock. RAM, again, stock. It's all stock, 4800 megatransfer per second.
An opportunity for combat.
Stock, okay. Pretty simple. Again, vid is the requested voltage, and what it's actually getting is 1.46 volts, which is very, very high, right? So we'll go back here. It's not gonna look great. I'm on my secondary PC. It's very old.
Time is up.
Streaming on my very old PC.
Double KO!
I want your soul.
That's 3!
And there we go. There we go. but it's hitting 1.5 volts. It will go up and down depending. As the temperature of your CPU goes up,
An
it will
opportunity for
also go up.
combat.
As you can see, I'm hitting a maximum of 66C and right around the 60-degree mark, which is very cool compared to other people with like a 13900K, a 14900K. I am on a custom water loop with a custom mono block made specifically for this motherboard, so it's very, very cool. Just works very good. It's on 360 mil radiator. Again, D5 pump. It's nice and cool. But I use 140, right around 130, 140 watts. The max it's hitting is 186, but that's because I was loading up and all that. Loading it will make it go up. But while in game, it's about 130, 140 watts. At 5.5 gigahertz, roughly 5.5 gigahertz. Okay?
An opportunity for combat.
Really simple there. So we'll exit that. There we go. So I'm going to exit the desktop now, and we're going to go into the BIOS. We're going to go into the BIOS on this now. So we'll go into the BIOS. Restart anyway. We're just gonna go back into the BIOS and we'll just go over a couple things that we need to know about overclocking, what certain things are needed to help stability. So we're gonna go, instead of easy mode, see how it's easy mode. We don't care about easy mode. Intel default settings, it says extreme. It's not that extreme. This is again all on stock. What we're gonna do instead of having extreme performance is disabled. Okay, we're gonna disable it. It's gonna say use of unlocked features or alteration of clock frequency or voltage may void any product warranties and reduce stability, performance, security performance, and life of processor and other components. Proceed further. Okay. With like a 14th gen, it has AI built into it, so it could void warranty, I guess. But you're gonna save your CPU from degrading if you do this, as in lowering the voltage. Okay, CPU upgrade. What we're gonna do is put the gaming profile. Okay. Gaming profile. What that does, send it to gaming profile, is it disables the E-cores. Something we don't need. We don't need the E-cores while we're gaming. So we're going to go gaming mode. And we're just going to do this. And what we can do as well is XMP. So we can go XMP1, puts this 7200 mega transfers per second. Alright, it's fairly simple there. It's all XMP timings. It's not great, but it does give you the 7200 mega transfers per second at least. Or for some people it might be lower, but the timings are not great in my opinion. So it's 7200 CL36 at 1.4 volts. Not the greatest in my opinion. But it's fairly simple to do here. So again, Intel default settings, we're going to disabled. CPU upgrade, go to gaming profile. Or if you're not on Gigabyte or other boards that might have the CPU upgrade, what you can just automatically do is disable the E-cores. That's what gaming mode is. Alright? That's all we have to do right now. That's all we're going to do right now. As you can see, nothing else has been changed. We can save and exit. We can go back into Windows. Go back in and check the voltages before we load up, then while we're loading, and the voltages are still going to be quite high, a lot higher than what we need. So we're going to do it this way. Again, it's fairly simple so far. A lot of people that I've noticed is that they're putting offsets. The offsets are not great to be used, in my opinion. So let's give it a second because it has to enable the XMP. It's got to run through a couple things. So it might take a little bit here for your PC to actually turn on again. I didn't even disable the fast boot. And it's automatically doing it for me. Sometimes you might have to disable fast boot to get the XMP to work proper. But some boards, most of the time, they're just fine. Just enable the XMP, get your XMP speeds, and you're good to go. So I'm going to put in my long password again. We're going to open up hardware monitor. Again, I use other things than just hardware monitor, like hardware info. Hardware monitor, it just shows, in my opinion, a little bit easier for people. So as you can see, we're just on P cores, 5.5 gigahertz. Voltage requested, so vid right here is 1.38 and it's getting 1.368. So we'll minimize that. Get Steam back open here. And it's probably going to start going up here just by loading this. So we're already at 1.4 now, being requested. It's a lot higher than what we need. We don't even need it to be that high. The system agent voltage is also pretty high. We can lower the system agent voltage, which is correlated to the RAM. Doesn't need to be 1.3. It could be 1.2 or 1.25, just fine. So, but we'll do this. We'll do this for now. We're just going through the steps here. Open Marvel Rivals again. Yes, and this takes forever. Again, part of the process. But we're gonna watch the launch. Gonna watch the voltages here. 1.38 now, being requested. Max is right around 1.4. I think so. I think that would. Voltages are still good. How does everything sound? Does it sound alright? I just got it set up on my other PC here, so that way I can do this. Sounds good? Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I was having troubles with my other stream, so I ended it. Figured out because I had YouTube running in the background. Yeah, you're liking the Monster Hunter Wilds? I made the a video about it because they made a benchmark for creators, so I made one for sure. Could be making a couple other ones eventually too. I heard it's really good though. Takes so long to load. It's all good, man. I got my first super chat, so that's awesome on my last stream. It's taking its sweet time to load here. The movement controls are much more fluid. That's good. Is it a multiplayer game or is it just a single player game? Because that I do not know. Up to 4 player, that's awesome. That is awesome. Oh, it takes forever to load. There we go. If you don't want to deal with humans, you can play with AI teammates. That's even better. No options. I like games with options. I'm not a single player game, so. Getting stuttering? Oh no. I see that. I need to probably put up the video rate, probably. Yeah, it's probably only while I'm in game. It's too much. Yeah, it's probably while I'm in game. I'll have to set that up a bit better then. Give me 1 sec. Yeah.
Immortality comes with a price, but I was glad to pay it. More eager idiots! Another loser to punch. Another loser to punch. Look who just showed up. Another loser to punch. Another loser to punch. Look who just showed up. Look who just showed up. More eager idiots.
Test. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, my apologies about that. Been talking to myself the whole time now. SD, where'd you go, man? So, again, we'll open up SimBench R23 here. I was showing before that on stock settings, even though I had it still on gaming mode. While you're playing Monster Hunter. Hopefully that's going good. I was showing before, even though it was on stock settings on 8 performance cores, it was requesting too much, or the CPU was getting too much voltages, and it was making it crash. This is overclock 5.6 gigahertz all core, and well, less voltage, and doesn't crash. Not on SimBench, not on Y Cruncher, not even in gaming. Again, that could be motherboard issue. There, different motherboards will have different voltages. A Zeus, or what I like to call him, a Sus, it's one of the worst ones for it. So here we go. Again, the same thing. Minimum 1.356, or value, the normal. Minimum 1.332, max is 1.368. The vid is what is requesting. So requesting high, could even go higher than this, but it's only going to hit 1.365 or plus or minus 10 or 15 depending. I have at 1.365 volts. Fixed V-core. Seem to be the best. There we go. Multiple runs, SimBench, stable when before wasn't even stable. System agent, I lowered the system agent. On stock, it was 1.325 volts. I lowered it to 1.25, plus or minus, of course. So 1.275 volts is what is what it's at. I would like to show in-game again, but I'm pretty sure it'll just be all weird. We'll do... Let's do a Y cruncher, just to show it works. Put it to normal, run. Now Y cruncher is a rough one. One of the roughest tests to be running is Y cruncher. There we go. Pass, 24 seconds. Not very fast. Not my fastest. You need to do more RAM overclock and have really good timings for it. Again, same voltages though. 1.368 is the max. Standard 1.356. Passed. Now if we go here, we save result. Temperatures could be 25 to 95 degrees Celsius, which is quite hot, but within its limits. Again, nice and stable. The one thing a lot of people don't look at is the vid request and then the actual CPU vCore. Vid max is request. What CPU vCore is getting is what it's actually getting. And also system agent. System agent voltage being too high can also cause issues, so lowering it down is a good option as well. But yeah, 95 degrees Celsius. 5.6 gigahertz. Boom. Restart. Another thing you should be doing too is memory reference clock. Just put to 100. Gear mode 2. Memory boot. Disable fast boot, especially on the first time doing any kind of RAM. So XMP should always do disable fast boot. Next time you boot up, you can just you can put it back to normal, or even put it to enable fast boot. Disabling fast boot allows it to go through the timings. The motherboard can go through all the timings and make sure they're set proper. Memory enhanced settings for gigabyte boards. RDEQ mode 1 is the best for stability for RAM. So if I'm doing RAM overclocking, so let's say we're doing cast latency of 32, let's just do cast latency of 30. Allow it to do whatever it wants here. TRFC 2 and TRFC PB. So TRFC 2 is the actual like refresh rate, and refresh rate per bank, right? So refresh rate per bank, because there's simplify it, per bank refresh rate. And we'll just do a refresh rate of, let's say, 700, and per bank we'll say 600. All right. TFA, this is Hynix M die, so depending on the ICs you have, Hynix A die, M die, Micron, it's all different. All right. So these two here for me, I can do 16 and 16 because I have Hynix M die. TREFI and TREFI X9 are some other timings we'll look at later on. Now these timings down here can be really good for performance gains, like your read to reads, read to writes, write to reads. There's a lot of them to go through. And these can help as well, but they'll be later on. It's more advanced, and it's a lot of going through, because depending on your CPU, depending on your motherboard, depending on the RAM kit you got, whether or not it's good bin RAM chips, all these can be a lot different. We'll do that. CL30 right now, saying 200 megatransfer per second. Now CL30 is Might need to raise the VCCSA, or your system agent voltage might need to be raised to get a lower cast latency. So 1.3 volts, generally max what you want to use is 1.3 volts. But yeah, for the voltage for the RAM itself, so VDD AO voltage and VDD-Q voltage. Okay, so that's for your RAM, like the actual RAM voltages. System agent is from your CPU to RAM. It's your CPU voltage for your RAM. And we can go through some of these like over voltage and CPU VRM settings as well, which is like your load line, vCore protection, VOG protection, CPU vCore current protection. But more or less it's your vCore load line that you want to worry about. And generally for 13th and 14th gen CPUs, it does not like a like ultra extreme, which puts it to like it has to be at this voltage at all times. It likes to have a droopy, so a high. It likes to have a droopy voltage. But we'll just leave it to normal for now. There's just a lot to... It can be very finicky. 13th and 14th gens can be very finicky with it. Yeah, I'm on 13900K right now. But we're going to do CL30. 1.3 volts for system agent voltage. And we're going to keep the actual RAM voltage the same, 1.4 volts. I'll say 1.41 volts, but it's at 1.4 volts. So we'll do that. Since I disabled fast boot, it's going to take 30 seconds, a minute, maybe 2 minutes to load up, because it's going to run through all the timings and allow everything to be good for this motherboard, basically. So allow it do it. Allow it do its thing, and boom. I just don't like when people say you gotta have a lot of voltages for this and that, but don't need a lot of voltage to get things stable. As you've already seen, I've ran SimBench on stock and it was not happy with it because it was requesting too much voltage and then it was allowing the CPU to get too much voltage. There we go, should be loading up here soon. Fairly quick. I didn't do a whole lot for it, so should be just fine. 7200 megatransfer per second CL30. Didn't change much for it. Should put on some of my overclock for competition settings. CL28 with some crazy good RAM timings that took quite a while to figure out. I've had some top overclockers say that's Hynix M die. Yeah, it's Hynix M die. Just really good timings. I mean, my opinion could be better, but it's best I can get. Maybe if I had like an Apex board, so like a Z690 Apex or a Z790 Apex, I might be able to get better timings, but these timings are still some of the best for Hynix M die that I have. Yeah, it does take a minute to load up. Disable fast boot does take a while to load up. But it is what it is. So hopefully my sound's still working. My sound not working again? It's still working. It's taking its sweet time to load though. CL30 is not easy to achieve. On a 4-DIMM motherboard, I'm saying. And without raising the voltages, especially at 7200 megatransfer per second. CL30 at 6,000, very easy to achieve. I do believe BuildZoy has one with 64 gigabytes, CL30 at 6,000, 1.6 volts. CL30 8,000 he got working, but it took 1.77 volts, which is a lot of voltage. It's not good for daily. You can't daily do it. You can't. It'll degrade the your actual RAM, the RAM chips themselves. It'll degrade it. Even 1.6 volts can actually slowly degrade. Max, I would say, for daily is like 1.45 volts. If you can keep them well cool, 1.5 volts, I guess, would be okay. Yeah, it's still running through timings, so take your sweet time. I will go over through this kit as well, which is by T Create. It's a 32 gigabyte. These are Micron, 5600 megatransfer per second. Cheap, just a very cheap kit of RAM. I can go through some more RAM as well. Corsair, 5200 megatransfers per second. Again, Micron, but like first batch Micron. These are like one of the first DDR5 from Micron. Right now I have Corsair Dominator Titaniums in 7200 megatransfers per second, CL36 at 1.4 volts. Might need to raise the voltage at CL30, to be honest. Still running through its timings. Let's allow it to do what it wants, see if it actually works or not. There we go. Did it work? No, it didn't work. So we're probably going to have to raise the voltage for that. So we'll go down here. We're not going to worry about CPU, VDDQ, or VDD2 for CPU. Then again, this is CPU side. Then we'll go DDR5. This is actual RAM voltages. We'll go 1.45 volts for that. And that should be okay for that. 1.4 volts for that. Okay. So VDD-AO will be the actual voltage we'll be seeing. And VDD-Q, we won't be able to see that, but you won't want to raise that too high. It's more or less the VDD-AO voltage that you want to raise up. We'll see if this works. Now, is it going to be stable? Probably not. Forward DIMM motherboard, 7200 megatransfer per second. CL30 takes quite a bit of voltages. I can get CL28 working at 7200 megatransfers per second. Fairly stable too, but it takes like 1.6 volts. Well, 1.565, which is a lot of voltage. It's not something for daily. I was getting 7600 CL28 working, but it was like 1.7 volts. Like crazy. You want lower cast latency, you're gonna have to raise the voltage for the frequency. If you want high frequency and low cast latency, you have to raise scaling. Cast latency scales with voltage. Hopefully it works just fine. Maybe. It said no. It says no, I don't want to do that. It's gonna want more voltage, so I'll just lower the frequency to get the CL30 working. So I don't want to raise the voltage too high. I don't want to show people, raising the voltages just makes it work. Raising the voltages will also make it so things are degrading. I like to have things lower voltage, so that way your CPU and RAM kit can actually last. I don't want people degrading their stuff for no reason. Except for I'm doing overclocking the competitions and that, then I don't mind showing some voltages. You can go back in some older live streams that I have. World Competition is one of them, World Cup for hardwarebot.org. You'll see that I use a lot of voltages. Keeping things nice and cool though, that's the main thing for me. You keep things around 0 degrees Celsius and you're just fine, or even colder. Do a reset. I'll just do a reset and yeah, should be good. Be also a lot of overclockers or content creators that won't show the ups and downs. They'll just show what they found. I can just show what I found. I have tons of saved profiles that work, but it's good to try new things, right? Even things that you might have tried before and they don't work. It's good to show it doesn't work. Let's go back to advanced mode. Go profile. Select. Okay, so we have a lot. See what I'm saying? Like we have a lot. We have a lot. So test 7600 CL36, 7600 CL38, 7600 CL36 new. Decent timings for 7600. High band, high latency. So testing for high bandwidth and low latency. 7600 CL36 tight timings. 6400, holy smokes, is part of the competition I was doing. 6400, hell yeah. 6400, hell yeah, brother. That right there is just, yeah, awesome. New 6400 CL28 at 5 gigahertz, part of the competition. Our CPU is only allowed to go up to 5 gigahertz. 6800 CL28 tryout. 7200 7800 tester for timings and that. I was testing from 7200 7800, see if they'd work on different voltages too. 6800 6800 tester CL28 CL28 1600, hell yeah, because it was working. 6800 CL28 tester 2, different timing, different voltages from these ones. 13900K timings, 13900K CL30 CL28, 13900K at beast mode. The 13900K beast mode is 6 gigahertz overclock, all core. Try Me was just, the Try Me, I think it was 6.2 gigahertz all core. CPU frequency, so high CPU frequency, I think I did 6.3 or 6.4 gigahertz on it. CL28 13900K, new CL28 7800 CL36. These are the micron, so this is this kit here at 6000. So this kit is a 5600 CL46 kit at 1.1 volts. This kit will probably last forever if you get it. It's a cheap kit. Yes, it's CL46, but it's only 1.1 volts. 5600 megatransfers per second. I got to 6000 at 1.1 volts, which is great. Yeah, micron 5.8, so I did overclocking on this just to try it out. 1.1 volts, 5.8, and then I did 6000. 13900K gaming profile, and then gaming 5.6 gigahertz, which is what I generally use. Same thing as the gaming stability. So gaming stability we'll use. I'll show that. So again, Intel default settings disabled. CPU upgrade gaming profile just sets it to performance cores. Overclock to 5.6 gigahertz. I can do 5.8 gigahertz, but there's no need. There's not much of a difference from 5.6 to 5.8 while gaming to see the frames. You might gain 5 or 6 frames, or maybe 10 frames, depending on the game, but 5.6 seems to be just fine. I don't need to do anything else besides that. All core 5.6 gigahertz. So again, we'll go in here, and I do enable speed shift. Hyper-threading technology is technically enabled. Bring the core offset. We don't need to worry about any of these for gaming and that at least. Frequency TVB, again core sync, so we're syncing all the cores to 5.6 gigahertz. Enhanced TVP doesn't really matter. You can enable it. I do believe it enables it on default anyways, but voltage reduction TVP, you can enable that or disable it. That doesn't really matter. It's not going to help the stability at all. So OC mode here, I generally do put it to elevated, but it's not needed for gaming, so it's not, I don't use it. So random mode, even though P cores, E cores is disabled, so we just say 0 just to show that they are disabled, but it is disabled. AVX settings, you can go user defined, AVX enabled, AVX offset, we're going to go 0, AVX optimum, we're going to go enabled, AVX voltage guard band scale factor 1. Fairly simple for AVX settings. And just allows it so that way if it does use the AVX, it doesn't lower your core frequency basically. It will run very hot if you are running AVX 512 though. It will run very hot. And active turbo ratios, if you say manual, and you'll see all these, but we'll just leave it to auto because it is at 5.6 gigahertz all core overclock just by doing what I showed up above with the frequency TVB, and also set it to 5.6 gigahertz. C state control, you can enable it if you want, but just put in auto does it anyway, so just do that. Turbo power limits, you can go Intel Power enabled, whatever you want, and you can technically put the max it out so that way it doesn't have a limit, but we'll just go auto. Okay, fairly simple there. Again, 5.6 gigahertz, 7200 megatransfer per second. This is at CL38, just a guaranteed stability, especially when summer comes around. You want a higher cast latency. And volt's still the same, but just raising up the cast latency a little bit will help stabilize things. And that's also for TRFC and TRFC PB and your TREFI. Okay, so we'll go here, show that. So this right here is going to be CL38. Your TRC PB, TRC2, which is TRC refresh rate, will be around, I think it's 760 on this kit, so it won't be this. So I'll just go save and exit on this, go back into BIOS just to show. Having those at to a higher number, so 700, 800, 900, 1000, will help stability as temperature rises as well. So a lot of people will have trouble in the summertime with stability, not with their CPU. The CPU temperatures are fine. It's more or less their RAM. They have a high RAM overclock frequency, and the refresh rate's not high enough to allow it to refresh more, and it will just not good for high temperatures. So raising it will help. These Hynix MDI kits are 24 gigabyte per kit, 48 gigabytes kit, so 2x24. They don't get hot, but they don't like to hit above 40 degrees Celsius. They become unstable above 40 degrees Celsius. Hynix ADI technically is better for higher temperatures. I mean, they can run just fine at 70 degrees Celsius. But Hynix MDI does not like it. boom. Because I disabled fast boot in this, it does take a second for it to load. I'll go back into it, show you what the actual TRFC, TRFC PB, and TRFC F9, X9, I mean, is actually set at. So we'll go here, memory channels. So we're on the right side. So here, that's what the timings are actually at. So for both sides, so both sticks. So CL38, 48, 48, 128. We can technically lower these ones a bit, but it's stable. XMP, fairly simple to do. So if we can go down, so TCWL, cache write latency, is a game changer. It will give good performance if you can lower it, but generally lower than that goes on with your cache latency. So if I lower the cache latency, we can lower this by about 4 ticks lower than the actual cache latency. So this is CL. It says 36 on cache write latency, and our actual cache latency here is CL38. We can technically lower this down to 34, and it'll be just fine without changing the voltages. Now, what I was talking about before is the TRFC2 and TRFC PB, TRFC and TRFC PB. So refresh rate and refresh rate per bank. So refresh rate, so TRFC2, some boards are TRFC4, I believe, or just TRFC. That's what you're going to look at. And we are at 834 on this booster XMP. So it's supposed to be for 7600 megatrends per second, but I have it at 7200, and it's saying 834, and per bank is 721. The higher these two numbers are, the better they're going to be for higher temperatures, for stability. Okay? So technically we can lower these a bit, and it will be stable, because the temperatures are just fine. But as summer comes and a lot of people don't have AC, raising these up just 100 will be just fine. These do help, not really games that much for frames, but for productivity, then yeah, lower and these are better. Now we're going to go down to the TREFI and TREFI X9. So what I like to do is just max those out. So it'll be 255, 262, 149. Okay, so I max those out, and that helps stability as well. Another one for stability would be your T-mod. Your T-mod, raising the T-mod. Some kits are really low T-mods, and that will cause instability depending on your motherboard and CPU. If you don't have a good CPU for your RAM, if it doesn't have a good MC, then T-mod, raising it up, will help this stability as well. So if we can just go, instead of being at 56, we'll say 60. Alright, T-mod 60, and that'll help stability quite a bit. Again, we'll get to your read-to-reads and read-to-writes, and your write-to-writes and write-to-reads later on. They're game changers. They can help performance quite a bit. You're not really going to notice it that much in games, but for like productivity and other things, then yes, it will be a game changer. But for gaming and that, it's not much of a game changer. The game changer for games is going to be not your cache latency, but your cache write latency will be a game changer for some frames. Your TRFC2 and TRFC PB, or your TRFC, your refresh rate and your refresh rate per bank will be a bit of game changers. But as temperatures goes up, you're not going to see a whole lot of downgrade from frames if you have to raise it for stability. You're not going to see a whole lot. Again, I can do 16 and I can do 16. This is Hynix M die, so we can do 16 for your your RTP and your TFA. Okay, that's what I like to see. for Hynix M die. Your TRFE-FI and TREFIX9, just for stability and gaming wise. You can crank it up, or what you can do is crank it up all the way to whatever your motherboard says. Generally it is 260,143 and 255 for DDR5. What you can do is divide this number by 4, and then same thing for that, and that will help stability as well, especially as temperature goes up. But we'll do that. Go back again, 7200 mega transfers per second. We're gonna go 1.365 because that's all it really needs. And then VCCSA, instead of being 1.36 or 1.35 volts it was giving me, we do 1.25 volts, and that's just fine. Sometimes the motherboard wants more voltages for certain things because it seems like it'll be more stable. Lowering voltage is just fine. Unless you're going for crazy numbers, crazy frequencies for your RAM or CPU, then you're going to need more voltages. But an overclock of just plus 100 megahertz on all core, so instead of being 5.5 gigahertz all core, 5.6 slight overclock with 1.365 volts, lowering the voltages. It's more stable for 13th and 14th gen CPUs, lowering the voltages. You can see, you can try it out yourself. And then we'll just say 1.4 volts as well. This will be all stable, so this will be nice and stable. This is not the actual timings, so we change the timings a bit. We'll just save, exit, and we'll show in Cinebench it's all stable. We can show in Y cruncher. Y crunchers are very, very stressful for CPU and RAM, so I'll show that stable in that as well. What I was showing in the beginning of this stream was that while trying to game, it's very laggy on my stream because my stream PC is very old. It doesn't seem to like to run Marvel Rivals or record or stream Marvel Rivals while I'm doing it, so we just won't. So we're back up, booted back up. Just gotta reset it, and everything will be good. If anyone has questions, just let me know. If you want, I can show you some of the competition overclocks that I have. It's not recommended for the voltages that I'm using for the competition voltages, but I will show it. Like 7200 CL28, cast write latency of 12, like very, very low. Such a game changer. Gets such good performance. Also, my read to writes were really good too. Yeah, that's for another time though. Those timings are tricky to play around with. We're just trying to show for people for gaming right now is stability is what we're looking for, right? Yeah, it's just doing its loops. There we go. Okay, there we go. That's actually fairly quick. Loom back up. So that was fairly quick. Type in my really long password. There we go. Benchmate. Hardware monitor. Show the voltages. Hardware monitor. I use hardware info as well, but hardware monitor is just very easy for people to see. Voltages. Boom. Request voltages. Boom. But it's only going to go to 1.365 or 1.7 volts, roughly. It's plus or minus a little bit. Nothing's perfect in this world. So we'll go here again to Cinebench. I was showing before it was unstable, would even pass multiple runs. Now we can pass multiple runs. with an overclock, lowering the voltage, set it to a fixed V core instead of it being whatever it wants the motherboard to do. Again, one of the worst motherboards for giving too much voltages is Asus. They're one of the issues with the CPUs for instability, crashing, and degrading your CPU was Asus. I love Asus, but that's what happened. So here, again, 1.356 volts is all it's going to. Request voltages right here. So it's requesting 1.423 volts for the max, but it's only allowing 1.356 volts. Temperature 92 degrees Celsius. Again, this is all core 5.6 gigahertz. So gonna be quite warm, but not terrible. Again, we can go and run it again. Then we'll do a Y cruncher. Y cruncher is even worse for temperature. Might even hit 100 C. It is about 21 degrees Celsius in here. And you'll see other YouTubers in that showing way more voltages to get stable, which you don't need. There we go, almost 23,000 points again. Max voltage 1.356 volts. Stock settings was over 1.4 volts, or while gaming it's 1.515, 1.53 volts, which is crazy. And it crashes because of that. That's part of the issue with crashing is too much voltages. Too much. Sometimes it's just too much voltage. We'll go Y cruncher real time, which is brutal. We'll run. And it should still be the same thing. So temperature, as you can see, hit 97 degrees Celsius because this test is absolutely brutal. Brutal. Uses your CPU to the max and RAM to the max. Boom. Done. Hippity hoppity. And we lowered the score a bit because of the timings that I put in. Nothing crazy. I didn't change the timings to a crazy amount, but we did lose 30 seconds, so awesome. There you go. Same thing. Voltages are just fine. Temperature again it's quite hot. It's Y cruncher. You won't see these kind of temperatures in game. You'll see on mine it'll hit about 60 to maybe 65 degrees Celsius in game. Nothing crazy. That's Y cruncher. I can even I don't really want it because the temperature's so hot. What I'll do is, what can we run? No, I don't have that disabled to run Hard Robotics 265. Yeah, we'll open Benchmade again. I would open up Marvel Rivals or something, but it seems to be really laggy on the stream. Just because I have a really old streaming PC. If you'd like me to get a new streaming PC, donate today. So we'll just go 7-zip. 7-zip is more or less for RAM. Shows the performance of RAM. I like to see the performance with 7-zip. Use either Sembench R24 or Sembench R23, and then Y cruncher for overall stability. And Y cruncher I'll do 2.5B or 5B for a longer test, or just do multiple Sembench and I'll actually show performance and what kind of temperatures you're looking at. if your CPU is being utilized fully. SimBench though doesn't really care about your RAM. You can set your RAM to whatever you want. Doesn't care about your RAM. Lower the cache latency can give you a little bit more performance on that. But again, this is just 8 cores, 5.6 gigahertz, 114,000 points. Nothing crazy. And save result. Temperature hitting 83 degrees Celsius. Blah blah blah. Pretty simple. And we'll go back to R23. What I'll do here is run another R23. Oh wait, R20 I'll run. So what I'll do is I'll run, and run 2 of them at a time. So just gonna wait until the one's done and then hit this one. See? And one after another. And now we're hitting the voltage. Like I said, it'll hit 1.368 volts. And it's gonna happen. The voltage I set to 1.365 volts to all core, and it's strict 1.365 volts. It might fluctuate a little bit. All depends, right? But it's not going to hit the 1.5 or 1.535 or 1.6 volts. It's not going to overload the voltages and crash your system if you do what I'm showing here. Performance is still really good. One after another, but whatever. Because I ran this one and that one at the same time while this one was running. This one was utilizing and getting things ready, so the performance is going to go down, of course. But stable. No crashing. Simple. Very, very simple. Yeah, no, I do want to show Marvel Rivals, but it's just so laggy. I don't really care to show lagginess on my stream. Again, thank you for showing me how bad things are looking. And thank you for showing me that my mic was muted again. You know, 5.6, 1.4 volts on the actual RAM itself. Boom. And that's all she wrote. But you gotta probably call it a stream. It's getting pretty late. I need to get some sleep. I will probably continue more of this tomorrow, showing people about overclocking and that. Gotta make a couple videos about it too. I got a few requests from a bunch of people asking if I can break down and simplify some things some more, and just to show some things in the BIOS on what to do. But I got everything set up for tomorrow. Ran through a bunch of couple things here, so glad I did. I'll get some more things set up. Camera a bit better of an angle too. So as I switched it over to the other one, everything changed up on me. Sound changed up on me. I mean, so many things changed up from my daily streaming to my old streaming PC. It's not the greatest, but it works. It works just fine. Alright. So I'm going to call it a stream, everyone. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you to all my viewers, subscribers, and donators. And to my first super chat earlier today while streaming. Got my first super chat. So again, thank you very much for that. And I'm going to call it a stream here. So again, thank you to all my viewers for watching. And as always, don't forget to get her done.